Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is on every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Watch live on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is presented by Raymond Felton State Farm.
Have you compared insurance rates lately? Are you satisfied with your current insurance provider? If not, look no further than Ray Felton State Farm, a proud sponsor of Sports on Tap. For a free quote, call his office at 234-284-2996 or visit him online at rayfelton.com.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's troutlandent@gmail.com. Elevate your brand with Mako Custom Printing. Mako Custom Printing specializes in creating high-quality spiritware, corporate apparel, and promotional products that make your brand stand out. Whether you need custom printing, graphic design, or an online store for your school or business, we've got you covered. Make a statement with Mako Custom Printing. Visit us at mako.com to start your custom printing journey today. That's MEHCO.com.
everybody. It's Sports on Tap. This is our high school football preview show presented by Raymond Felton State Farm Insurance, located in beautiful Hudson, Ohio. Make sure you give Ray a call at 234-284-2996 for a quote on your home, auto, life insurance needs, and he's got various other products as well. This is Sports on Tap. You're watching us live on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, get those notifications. We're about to go on to the air. Follow us there. Follow us on Facebook, Sports on Tap. We are on Twitter/X at SOT Podcasts. We are on Threads at SOT_podcasts. You can also check us out on Spotify. And we are also, our website, of course, is sportsontap.podcast.com. For any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, or corrections, send us a note at sportsontappodcast@gmail.com. My name is Ed Dick, back from assignment from Erie, Ohio, or Erie, Pennsylvania, where I was last weekend with my family, alongside Rob Troutman, Noah Jacobson, Sean Duffy, and Josh Jeffrey. The whole crew is here, and we are just 10 days away from the start of the high school football season, and we are rolling on with our high school football previews. A little bit later in the show, we will talk with Charles Saulter from Twinsburg and Logan Yantek from Westlake of my beloved Cleveland West Conference. But we are starting off with another person from a past that we share from the University of Mount Union. The Mount Union College, as me and him know it. We are joined by ninth-year head coach at his alma mater of Avon Lake, Matt Kostelnik, joins us on the show. Matt, Coach, thanks for taking time to join us tonight.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Hey, Coach, we're getting into we're really getting into the middle of preseason. Doubles are going on. You've had some scrimmages. You got the previous scrimmage going on this week. A good season last year. Obviously, the playoff result not where you wanted to. But talk a little bit about the offseason and what you guys have been doing to prepare for this preseason, leading into the season.
Overall, man, we've had a great offseason. The kids really bought into the weight room. We changed some styles up, like one like little adjustment, just like I just said, screw it, bought them all matching shirts and shorts, and like that's just something we've never done in the past. And I have a young coach, Caden Viancourt, who enforces that now. He just got done playing at Baldwin Wallace, and our trainers from T3, one of them being Trevor Morrison, really got the guys to buy in, and we had a really great offseason. One of our best, I was joking with the captains. Normally, like I buy steak for our summer team winners and our captains, and then I usually guys with perfect attendance, I'll buy them on too. And we had so many guys with perfect attendance that I couldn't afford it this year. So it's a great problem to have. And I've been really impressed with those guys being able to do. Now we have to build upon it. We that first preview scrimmage against Lorraine, I thought we came out, played well. I think we played probably about above what I was expecting our boys to do. So I was really proud of that. But we have to. It's going to be a build because the conference that we play in is pretty brutal. Our non-conference schedule is pretty brutal, and we got to take it game by game.
Coach, I know the playoff loss really hurt your program last year, but looking back on it, how has that playoff loss had really fueled a lot of seniors and a lot of younger upperclassmen to really come back with a lot of momentum going into this season?
I would say typically in the past that would probably be true, but we had one goal only, and that was to win the weight room in the off season. So that's really all we focused on. Like, hey, the past is the past. That like I don't want to be in a position where the last 3 years we've lost 4+ games for 3 straight years. So, and we've had good teams. We've had some things go our way, some things not go our way. Last year again we had ourselves in a position, whether it was in the playoff game, whether against Homestead Falls, that we could have pulled off wins there, and now our our win-loss column looks a hell of a lot different. But it is what it is. So, like, we can't dwell on the past. We're starting as of right now, we're starting a sophomore quarterback. So, he definitely doesn't have a past. I mean, he got in a couple games last year. So, we have to keep moving forward.
Coach,
Thank you again for taking the time. I know it's a busy time of the year for everybody in the great game of football. But you mentioned you're starting a sophomore quarterback this year. You got a couple of great seniors coming back. Can you kind of give us an idea of what the makeup of your team is coming into the 2025 campaign, and some of the players that we should be keeping an eye out for? I mean, obviously there are some that stand out, but maybe some that maybe you is that little secret that no one knows about yet?
Well, I mean, I'll start off on defense because I think right now starting off anytime you start, when you're looking at how little experience we had coming into this season, start off with where we're experienced the most. I think defensively, and typically speaking, defenses are going to come along a little bit quicker anyway. And I think they're moving fast and furious. I mean, they were looking really good coming out against Lorraine. I can't tell you how many sacks we had in that kind of opening series. With Caleb Smith and Eric Van Uyen coming back, both were all conference honorable mention guys that, Caleb in particular, man, he decided, he's tired of being 240, 245 and chubby, and decided he wanted to be 215 and shredded. And boy, man, he looks fast as hell. He's getting the ball. He's always had a high motor. So we're looking for him to really have an incredible year. And Eric Van Uyen coming back, starting at the end, having that experience, the way he's getting off the ball right now is just really inspiring our other guys that we basically have 4 or 5 more guys that we can plug and play that are really bought in and really getting after it. And then we have Sam Huffman, top 3 production, coming back at linebacker. We moved him over to middle linebacker. So he's going to kind of hold down the middle, and we got some really good guys coming off JV seasons that we're excited about. And then in the back end, Michael Summerfield at safety, another one, is super productive, really, really smart player, does everything that we ask of him. We're excited to see what he can do. So we have this kind of core nucleus up the middle that I think is filtering out, and we've had some really guys some step up. I mean, I'm really confident in our corner game right now. I coach the corners, so I'm gonna talk about them. But through and through, front to back, I mean, I feel like we're looking great. I mean, we finally have real long, quick, aggressive corners in Pence Bowlins, and we have a incoming freshman named Chris Golding, that's going to see some good minutes. He saw really good minutes against Lorraine, had a couple really nice open field tackles. But the 3 of them are going to kind of rotate, and they're, I think Bowlins is like 6'1", Pence is like 6'2", 6'3", Golding's like 6'3". So nice long corners, and kind of getting back when I first started as a head coach, and when you run 4-3 press quarters, if you got guys that can take away number 1, it's great. On the offensive side, obviously Max Riley coming back. I mean, he's coached Max to the kids at this point. I mean, 4-year starter, going to Ohio State, and the dude is, sharp as hell, super smart, great kid. I mean, he's the kind of kid that, I can trust. I would trust my own kids around if he to babysit type of kid. And he started at FCA. I mean, he does everything we have ever asked of him. And he was a captain last year. He's a captain again this year. So he'll hold down our front. We got Slade straying back. Guy that saw quite a few minutes last year. And then the backfield, Ezra Jones, as right now, is going to be our bell carrier. And I say as right now, he is our bell carrier. I mean, he put on 20 pounds in the offseason. Hadn't played football until last year. So we really didn't showcase him on varsity until about the last 4 games. And he averaged 6 yards a carry in those games. So you guys saw the highlights. I mean, he took the opening carry, 80 yards for a touchdown. Tim Brink, again, you saw in the scrimmage, the highlights, I'm sure. He can move really well. He took a power read for a 30-yard touchdown. He throws really well, and we just got to make sure we protect him so he can get the ball out to our athletes. You guys know Aiden Stewart is a freak. He's a stud. He can pretty much do anything for us. And then from there, I mean, I love our wide receiving core. We have a ton of plug-and-play kids, a lot of seniors who had good years for us on JV that we can throw out there in a pinch, and guys returning. We're like, you got guys like Summerfield playing both ways, but we also got Jacob Perry, played quite a few minutes for us. Colin Hout did great for us on JV last year, stepping in quarterback. He'll be a senior. He's really kind of solidified himself as that H. That's not even getting into, I got 4 or 5 other seniors that we're really impressed with, that we know we can put them out there in a pinch, and they're being pushed by a pretty great sophomore skill class. So Laser returns for us played quite a bit of tight end for us, and he's grown quite a bit. He's put on, same thing, 15, 20 pounds. And we got another guy named Ambrose that I'd be shocked if he didn't see somewhere on the field pretty regularly on Friday night. I mean, he got a ton of reps at both linebacker and a hybrid fullback position. And then our fullback, Levi Ventress, is one of those kids that last year we needed a center on JV, and he's not it's like 5'7", 5'8", stout, true like old days fullback. Like, I'm gonna put my chin, my crown of my helmet underneath your chin. And last year he goes, "Oh hell, I'll go play center." So it kind of shows you kind of the character and makeup of our team and where we're heading. We just got to stay healthy and keep moving forward and keep getting better week in, week out.
You can't move those guys. 5'7", and he's got low center of gravity. You can't move him. And I was one of those guys for a long time until I grew up. But
yeah,
I hated those guys.
Man,
I know.
A great train, dude. It's great.
Hey, Coach, what's your end of the season like staff meetings like? You know, after I would say for your program, kind of a down year last year. I mean, making the playoffs is not a down year. I understand that, but you know. What's it like at the end of the year when your coaching staff gets together and talk about some of the things that went right, some of the things that went wrong, and then kind of building that framework for, next season?
So starting off, number one was, okay, where ultimately, because I always tell myself, I always tell my staff, like, hey, we have to look at us first. Like, where did we fail? What can we do? Like, and where did things that were out of our control, but we could have controlled a little bit better? Well, one of those being, hey, our quarterback goes down week 2 against Benedictine. Well, now we're kind of reinventing ourselves because our backup quarterback is playing tight end and doing a great job for us, starting at linebacker, doing a great job for us. And now we have to kind of reinvent our offense a little bit. Not reinvent it, but we just have to tailor it more to what his skill set is. And, one thing about him is he was a really great game manager. So we actually could do a lot of more. We could be more flexible in the game of, getting our motions, adjusting to where he's not bombing the ball down the field because that wasn't his skill set, but he could also run the ball effectively. So that was probably number one. Hey, like, we got to be ready from day one, not take a week against, really a half against Benny, a week against Chardon, and then finally put it together against Berea. Like, that's where that's on us. We got to get the air out of that. The other thing is really weight room. You know, I'm going to be pretty honest about our weight room attendance wasn't great last year. Like, we really weren't bought in the off season. So where did that start? Well, it kind of actually happened naturally. We brought in a young coach in Caden Videncourt. We have a new T3, a couple trainers that came in, and I loved our old one. She was awesome. She did a phenomenal job. But it was a different shakeup. And then I have another coach on staff who's a young dude who's really great with our middle school. So it just became this like great kind of mixture. And the kids really bought into it. They really loved it. So that kind of took care of itself. And then the other part is, how dynamic are we being? Are we truly sticking to players formation plays that we preach? Are we doing that on offense and on defense? Like, are we putting our defensive guys in a position to be successful? Are we doing everything we need to do on the back end, on the front end? And all of those things start because, as my assistant head coach, Vince Marsala, would say, like, a season is a collection of habits, right? And, we took our lumps. We had some key injuries, but we found a way to get back and persevere. I mean, we took second in the conference last year. We were in a double overtime with Umstead Falls. We kicked 4 field goals to beat Ridgeville. Wish we would have done better against our rivals from down south. But then we go into that playoff game, and we were in a position to win that game. And we came on the wrong side of that. And again, what were the habits that we were building at the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, that we didn't get over the hump as we had? It kind of, some games we did. I mean, again, that Berea game was wild. Pulling that out at the end, and it was a lot of fun. And to be clear, for that Berea game, I had told the kids when I walked in the huddle, hey, if we score, we're going for 2. I don't care. If we're on the score, we're going for it. After the game, all these guys are running up to me like, oh man, that was ballsy. I'm like, hell no, I decided that beforehand. Their offense was shredding us. I wasn't about to let them do it again. So anyway.
Yeah, you went for it. But It was fun seeing you guys in the scrimmage against Lorraine. I thought you had a lot of good things going. Obviously, Ezra Jones in the beginning with that long run. One player, though, I was really intrigued. Well, actually, a few. Christopher Galding is a guy that played both sides of the ball for you. He's a young kid with some good size. Made some really big plays as a younger kid on the team. It's not easy to be a younger kid playing varsity minutes, but I think he can really add some good things for you. And how about the quarterback? What have you seen with Dawson Tenbrink? I mean, he's only a sophomore, and I thought in that scrimmage he showed a lot of poise in that pocket. He kind of knows when it's closing and gets out of the pocket, made some good throws on the run. What have you seen from him so far in the scrimmage? I mean, only a sophomore. Obviously, having an Aiden Stewart and a Max Riley on your team probably calmed them down a little bit, and I'm sure they've given him advice. But what have you seen from him so far this offseason?
Well, for Dawson, it's just really, he's like a 4.5 GPA. He is smart as hell. He's physically ready. He works his butt off. The biggest thing with him is he's extremely coachable. And so in my part, I always just tell him, and even asked his dad at the golf outing yesterday was, I'm like, do you have fun yesterday? Because when Dawson's having fun, we tend to flow. The ball comes out quick. He's on his targets. He's moving around. And so keeping him in the mindset of like, dude, just you don't have to be an All-American. Like, this is your first go around. Go out and have a good time. Yeah, you need to get the ball off quick. You're not playing freshman ball anymore. You can't hold on to it, wait until he's wide open. You have to anticipate. That's going to come with time. Knowing when to take off, making sure we're not practicing bad habits. But he is very poised. He's always quick to learn. The kid is a sponge. He's quick to learn. It was really good getting him into those that spring 7-on-7 stuff that we did. You just saw every week he seemed to take a step forward. And so now it's really just kind of cleaning up the details, letting him kind of fall into place. And again, you saw that one run on that power read that he pulled and went 30-plus yards for a touchdown. He's got the skill set. He's got the arms, got the speed. He's got everything up here. And so we're more than confident in him. And I just have to keep reminding him to have fun. And we were able to get him in some varsity time last year, which I think will also help in the long run. That opening game is going to be a lot. And so for him, he'll settle down quickly. I have no doubt about that. And again, as long as he's out there having fun, he'll put us in a position to be successful.
Hey, Coach, we'll get you out of here with this. Speaking of your first opponent, a team you defeated last year but has a lot of really good talent coming back on defense to give Dawson and your offense quite a test. I don't know if you've broken into it too much because of the preseason. Is there anything that you've gleaned so far from any sort of film for Strongsville? Or are you still a little too early for that?
No. We do a due diligence. We try to keep tabs on stuff. One thing I know is that I played against their coach in college, and I know he's a big rah-rah guy, and he's going to get those guys rock and roll. He's going to get them believing in something. And as of right now, from what I've seen from the previews and stuff, and that's going to be, they're going to run the football. They got a great tailback. They're going to be really, really good up front on both sides of the ball. Obviously, they have a man at tailback. And they got a man at middle linebacker. And so that's what they're going to rely on. So for us, it's going to be, one, we got to get penetration on defense and try to keep that running back from getting out. I think he had 5 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown against us last year. The kid is good. He was only a sophomore, so he's only gotten bigger and stronger. Their O-line, I know they weren't returning a ton, if I remember correctly, but they're still going to be physical. They're going to be men. They're going to come off the ball. So again, it's going to be, can we get penetration? Can we make sure we tackle on the edges when we get our one-on-one opportunities? And then offensively, it's getting the ball to our athletes. Because their D-line is going to be really good. Judging by what they have coming back, judging what I can see, or I've heard from on paper, or seen the previews, they're going to have some dudes up front. And we're going to have to play like men to beat them. And then the same thing, their linebacking core is going to be pretty solid. I don't know what they have on the back end just yet, but We know front seven on defense and their front five on offense with their tailback, they're going to be boys to build upon what they did last year. And that, you know, that's one of the best seasons they've had in a long time. So again, players formation plays. We got to get our studs the ball, let them do their work in the back end, and then on defense, like I said, get penetration and getting tackle the hell out of this kid because I think he's going to have a great season behind their front.
Excellent. Well, Coach, thanks again for taking the time to join us. As always good to talk to a fellow Raider. And best of luck to the Shoremen this year. And the Shoremen season starts next Friday night. Hard to say. It's awesome to say next week is the start of the season. They will be traveling to Pat-Catan Stadium to start the 2025 campaign. Coach, thank you very much for the time. We look forward to getting some of your players on over the course of the season.
Awesome, guys. Thanks. Have a great rest of the night.
Thanks, Coach. You too.
Thanks, Coach.
That is Avon Lake head football coach Matt Kostelnik. Again, going into his 9th season as the head coach of the Shoremen, alumnus of Avon Lake, also by way of Mount Union College back in the day. And you know,
he went to Mount Union. I didn't know that.
Get out of here.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
He went there, just in case no one knew, I also went to Brunswick. So there's that. Let me get that out of the way.
Whoa. So you're telling me that you, Josh, and Rob all went to the same high school?
No.
Everyone knew Rob and I did. Ed was that was the breaking news.
Yeah, well, I'm There's no doubt about that. I swear I'm going to have an all Mount Union show. It is my goal to have that happen. I will have nothing but Mount Union coaches on this show.
Wow.
And I'm also going to think about something else I'm not going to mention right now.
That sounds like a threat, and I don't like it, but we'll talk about that later.
These are things I think about when I'm cutting the grass. I'm like, it'd be really cool to get guys on. But speaking of which, it would not be a high school football preview show if we did not have the eye of the tiger staring at us from the basement.
I love that.
We are so excited, as always, to have head coach of the Twinsburg Tigers, Charles Saulter, joins us. Coach, thanks again for taking the time to join us tonight.
Guys, hey, I appreciate it. It's crazy. I thought about doing this from my office at school, and I thought we can't do it, man. I gotta have the pictures in the background. So
I love that.
We gotta keep it the same here.
Those are perfectly positioned too. Yeah. Like you got your head in the middle and the two tigers right there. I mean, you can't play. I mean, did you test that out before you hung those pictures?
You know what? I don't think so. I probably took a stab at it and just went on, and it worked out well for us. So here we are.
Impressive.
We officially have a high school football season. We have the eye of the tiger staring at us.
Ready to go.
We are excited. Coach, last year not exactly what you're looking for from a win-loss standpoint, building off of the playoff run from the previous year, but nonetheless, we know we know the type of coach you are. Very positive. So talk a little bit about what the offseason was for you in preparation for this preseason.
Yeah, we started back in January. Some guys started a little earlier in December, and we implemented some different things in our offseason. On Thursdays, we tried to go in the morning so we could get a lot of other kids that were, the basketball players and the baseball players and that sort of thing, so that we could get everybody together one day a week at least. And that worked out well for us. And the kids the kids took our offseason real seriously. I think last season left a little bit of a bitter taste in our mouth. We hired Coach Evan Curry, who came over, who was actually my defensive line coach at Bedford for 3 years, and our strength guy. He's an enormous, muscle-bound individual. So he's doing our strength, and he's done a tremendous job with our offseason. And, we're just bigger, stronger, and faster, and we feel positive going into this season. We were pretty young last year. We had, 23 seniors in 2023, and those guys were just an amazing group. And we had a pretty small senior class last year, and those guys fought hard for us. But we feel like going into this season, we're in decent shape.
Coach, when you talk about those 23 seniors, that says a lot of how much you're losing. And now this year, it's going to be a lot of seniors that have a chance to lead this group. Just kind of talk about how some of those seniors are going to bring that leadership to your team going into this season.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many to name, honestly. But, I'll start with our captains, with Ellery Jiho, Baron Grant, R.J. Ruffin, J.D. Okuma, and those guys, and all the stuff that they are doing right now Rob Herndon, excuse me. All 5 of those guys. Those guys are really taking the team under their wings. They lead us every day in practice. They're difference makers. All of them are back. All of them, some of those guys are 3-year starters for us. Rob and RJ are 2-year starters for us. And, then you bring in extra guys like Will Cunningham, who's going to be a 3-year starter for us at left tackle. And you bring in a guy like Gavin Davis, who's going to be really a 4-year letter winner for us at center. So to have, 4 of the 5 offensive linemen back from last season is big for us. And then you got Cole Kramer, and you've got a lot of those different guys that are stepping up and doing some really big things for us this year. So we're excited about our depth as far as seniors go. I think that's a sign of a good program, and the fact that we're at least trending in the right direction, where you have 20 plus seniors on your team. So we feel good about those guys and what they're bringing to the table right now.
Coach, again, thank you so much for taking the time. As I say to every coach, I know this is what I would describe as chaos period for a lot of coaches.
Yeah.
Just you got practice, you got all lifting, you got all kinds of stuff going. But I always like to ask coaches this, especially coming into a year where you got a.
Whoa!
Oh no!
It was getting good. It was getting good.
I know.
That's the worst possible face I could be stuck on.
Here,
That was
we'll
probably going to be his best question ever, too.
Man.
That was lining up to be an all-timer.
Well, we'll wait till Sean gets back. But Coach, I'll go ahead and just kind of looking at your team coming into this year. You mentioned 4 out of your 5 offensive linemen coming back. You got some beef up front, and you also got some good skill position players. Just talk about how that is going to help supplement the loss of Joey Pollock, who is your 3-year starting quarterback. He graduated, and you're going to have a new quarterback in there. But just talk about how those skill guys and then offensive line, having that camaraderie, is going to help your new quarterback this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. Obviously Joey was a 3-year starter for us and our guy for the past 3 years. I mean, he did an amazing job. I mean, one of the best kids I've ever coached, had the privilege of coaching. We're certainly going to miss him. But I think that, the quarterback competition has been really good this year. In the race, in the lead right now is Dylan Fantone, who actually had to start his very first game last year versus Wadsworth. So, I mean, as a sophomore, we kind of threw him to the wolves there. So he got a taste of what it was like to be out there. And so we seem very comfortable right now with where we're at quarterback. And Kingston Bryant is a younger sophomore. He's coming up. He's doing a great job right now. But when you have 4 out of 5 guys back, and you can lean on those guys, we're not asking our quarterbacks to, do anything that is crazy by winning the game. If we can manage the game, and with the skill that we have, this is year 7 going into being a head coach, and this is overall the most amount of depth at the skill positions that I've had in my career, and I've had some really good ones. But we have a lot of guys that can step in, a lot of speed. We're taller, and I feel really confident with it. If we can just get the ball out and get it into our playmakers' hands, we have a chance to be pretty successful this season.
I think
Sean, you back?
Unless he's frozen again. Let's see.
I really hate technology. I've had enough of it. I don't like it. It's not agreeing with me. I don't know if you guys even heard my question, because I was halfway off the ramp before I realized you all were making the same face at me. So sorry about that.
You were just getting into it, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, good, fantastic. No, I was going to ask because Coach, you mentioned that you got a bigger class of seniors coming this year, and you mentioned the captains and how they've kind of taken that responsibility. Do you see them as well with the younger kids, your freshmen and your middle school kids, being that leadership all the way down to that, or is that more your coaching staff as well, kind of taking up that leadership with, say, your middle school and into your freshmen to kind of grow those numbers?
Yeah, that's a great question. I take it pretty seriously myself to obviously get down to the middle school a couple times throughout the year and try to build relationships with those guys. But I've always said, kids are your best recruiters. They really are, honestly. They don't. After a while, kids really don't want to listen to what I have to say. I mean, I could get up there and have the most fiery, best speech prepared ever, and it won't really mean anything because they're probably tuning me out after a while. So I think with our captains this year and our seniors, a big part of our season has been to get to know one another, get to know your teammates, because you'd be surprised if seniors and they don't even know the sophomores, they don't know the freshmen that way. So communication with those guys is huge, and I think it's big for them to encourage those young guys to continue to play and to continue to be around. And there's so many distractions in society now for kids to be doing. So, it's football is not on everybody's radar. A lot of times, especially with kids now, and because they can put a headset on and create their own player online, and they can be however good they want to be at this point. So none of us on this podcast we didn't have the ability to do any of that stuff. So, it's a little bit different, but I think the stronger we're getting, I think the best teams are player-led teams, and I think we're really getting to that point. Our seniors in 23 were those guys. Last year we did a little bit of a smaller senior class, but these seniors now really have taken that under their wing, and they take that seriously.
Coach, I think the one thing that we have to remember is you took this team over with only one win in their back pocket at that point in time. And then the first year you had this team, you won 3 games. And then, the year before it was 7 games. This year it was 3 games. But what's some of the things as a head coach that you've learned? It's been a little bit. Obviously, you had a great season when you went 7-5, made the playoffs, made a little run there. And last year, obviously, 3 wins probably isn't what you wanted. But what have you learned from so far in 3 seasons as coach at Twinsburg?
Well, I think you learn the community. You learn the different type of kids that you're coaching. It's crazy. Like, all communities aren't the same. They really aren't, honestly. And some communities put different sports ahead of other sports. And I think you kind of learn how to coach where you're at. When I was at Bedford, it was a different type of kid that you were coaching. Kids are kids, don't get me wrong, but it's a different type of kid. They're coming from a different background, and so you have to now start to relate. I think one of the biggest things I've learned is it's okay for kids to ask why, and what it really boils down to is that a lot of times when we were growing up, you didn't ask why. You didn't ask your parents why. They told you to do something. It just is what it is now. But kids are coming from an environment now, a lot of times with parents in which they're asking why, and their parents are saying, hey, listen, I need you to do this because it can lead to this. So when they come to practice, us being, like our coaches were when we were in high school, and it was like, hey, I told you to do this, so you're just going to go do it, and period. That's not really the type of kids that we're all coaching now at this point. And I think, and I've learned more and more, and we say it all the time, but relationships really, really are everything, honestly. If you don't have relationships with the kids that you're coaching, and you're out there and you're coaching them hard and you're doing all this other stuff, they may not take that coaching hard as a form of love. You're giving it to them in a form of love, but hey, I want you to be good. This is why I'm on you. I'm doing this. But they may take it as a form of actually you don't like them. You're always on them about something. So I think what I've learned the most out here is really, really just trying to build relationships with players. Trying to continue to build relationships with coaches at all of our levels. And really, honestly, I'll end with in my rant here. It's not always even all just about the kids. It's about our staff too, right? It's about our staff. I mean, we have to remember that I've got a staff of, 12 to 14 guys that are out here, and they're not doing this type of podcast. Some guys, some people in the community may not know what they're doing, but they're doing amazing jobs. So loving on those guys, and also kind of being flexible with schedules and things like that too, so that they're not away from home too much. So happy wife, happy life, from what I hear from a lot of people there. So.
Hey, Coach, we'll get you out on this last question. And you talked about earlier off season. You got a new strength and conditioning coach came in, kind of helping the kids in the weight room. And that's kind of been the overwhelming theme that I've noticed with all the coaches that we talk to, is about kind of going back into that weight room and getting bigger, stronger, faster. I know that probably happens every year, but it seems like that's a common theme where a lot of these teams now are really concentrating that starting in January, so when the time comes in May and June, we can get on the field a little bit. You're ready to go, and you'll notice your kids are faster. Did you guys make a concerted effort this offseason to really improve on that end of your program?
Yeah, it was huge for us. And Coach Curry's approach is a little bit different. He's obviously he's a strength trainer, and he's got all the newest, latest things for the weight room. So I really turned that over to him. Honestly, I really do, and I think that I really delegated our off season to him. I didn't ask what we were doing. Most of the time, I was there, present. I monitored to make sure we were all set to go. But he really knows his stuff. He really knows his stuff. And my staff is I can't say enough about them and the commitment they put into the offseason. My defensive coordinator, Jamon Rips, has been with me since I've been a head coach at Bedford. He's been with me since going on year 7. Tim King's over here now, Coach Bird, Coach Harris, all those guys. Carlos Strong with our freshmen. They're all showing up in the offseason, and they're all putting in time with our kids, and they're all doing everything that they can to make us better here. So, I'm lucky to be in this position I am. And, lucky to spend this off season with those guys and getting us bigger, stronger, faster. I know that's the common theme here, but that's what we want to do. And I think the biggest thing with us is that we wanted to just be more explosive this year. I always felt like we had some size. We've never really been overly small, but we wanted to really be explosive this year. And so that's what we really spent a lot of season with, those dynamic things, so that we could be more explosive on the football field this season.
And with that, they are going to test how explosive they are going to Youngstown to visit the Boardman Spartans in week 1 next Friday night on August 22nd. And Coach, thanks again for taking the time to join us. We always enjoy having you on the show, and we look forward to hopefully having some of your players on our show as the season progresses.
Sure. Hey, last question. Hey guys, I feel like I'm like superstar show status or whatever you guys call it. Like I feel like I'm there.
Friend of show.
Sure. Yeah, your friend of show. Yeah.
Am I okay? I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page with that.
Yeah, we're good there.
Yeah.
We're good.
We have plaques in the works, but every time we send them out, they get sent back to us, and we think, okay, they're no longer friend of show with us anymore. So it's a whole thing. No, I'm kidding.
Well, just remember that too. Next year, if you're thinking about having it in your office again, we need to see the eye of the tiger, and then it's officially football season.
There you go. Anytime. Hey, love what you guys do. I watch a lot of you guys' stuff. You guys do an excellent job. Us coaches really love the coverage that you guys do. So thank you for all the time, and thank you for all the things you guys do for the game.
Thanks, Coach.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, we appreciate it.
Coach.
Have a good night.
Take care, guys.
That is Coach Charles Saulter from Twinsburg. The Tigers will be taking on the Spartans of Boardman, again traveling to Youngstown to take on Boardman next Friday night, August 22nd. And again, it's hard to believe that we are referring to the season as the next week. We've been going pretty long here so far, and Noah's been putting out a ton of content as well on our website and on our YouTube channel. Going to the various camps around town and checking out the various, checking out the previews. The other guys have been going out there as well. So a lot of content coming your way here, and we're just ramping up for the start of the season. All right, our final guest tonight. He is originally from Strongsville. Still lives there, from what we understand. We won't hold that against him. But he is the head coach. For a team in my conference, the Cleveland West Conference. We are joined by second-year head coach of the Westlake Demons, Logan Yantek. Coach Yantek, thanks for taking the time to join us tonight.
And thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely, Coach. Hey, Coach, last year, first year, win-loss record not really where you wanted to be, but there's always some positives you can take from the season. Talk a little bit about the offseason, from the end of last season to where you're at now. Some of the steps that you guys have taken to prepare yourselves for this preseason.
I think we made a lot of changes in the program. I think our offseason goes back to, we sit down and talk to really all of our players in our program right after the season. It's the first thing we do. And if I'm being honest, I learned a lot about myself as a head coach and some things that I was blinded to. And really, I think one of the most fun aspects that's been different this year that was brought to me from our kids was just the fact that we weren't as close as a team. And I give our credit to our kids. I think our kids, our seniors, our junior, all of our kids, they've done a great job of becoming closer friends. And you could just feel like our practice energy on the field is totally different than it was a year ago. So that's been different. You got some new faces on the staff.
Oh, did he freeze up?
Yes, he did. It's the Sean Duffy.
It must be contagious.
Yeah, it happens.
Let's see if we can get Coach. We'll see if we can get Coach back on here. Coach is still there?
Yep. You guys got me.
Yep,
Sorry.
there you are.
No
problem. Yeah, all good, man. All good. All good. So I think where we left off was that the practice energy has been increased. The team's a little bit tighter than they were maybe last year. Made some new faces on the coaching staff. That's where we're going with so far.
Yeah, and those are the big things. Like I said, I think our kids are working hard. We try to push them in the off season with just some different type of workouts we did before the school. And again, I think our kids are responding to it, and we're off to a strong start this August. So, like I said, we're definitely excited where we're going.
Coach, looking back on your first year as a head coach at 2-8, we always talk to a lot of these coaches and that, just kind of talk about what are some of the biggest things that you learned from your first time as a head coach as you are preparing yourself for your second season starting next week already in 2025?
I learned a lot. I mean, I'd be lying to you guys if my head didn't stop spinning really the whole season last year. But I've learned to just surround yourself with great coaches. I was fortunate to have some good coaches and staff this year that are still on it. And, from that perspective, having guys that you trust that are working hard, that's been awesome. And, obviously last year, 2-8 is not where we want to be. And talking to our kids about the mentality of what we really want to, or how we want this program to be viewed. And it's been awesome to hear our kids that are buying into that same thing. Like you talk to our seniors and juniors, they're very passionate about, Westlake becoming more of a respected football school. Right now we're not. And that's something that we want to try to change about our program, and our kids are definitely grasping that same mentality.
Coach, again, thank you for taking the time with us tonight. I know it's, like I said to every coach, it's a busy time right now between school and practices and things like that. So we definitely appreciate you taking a few minutes with us. I want to ask about your team as a whole coming into 2025. What's the squad look like right now as far as the makeup? You got a heavy senior class, or is it more spread out? Or who are some of the players that we, that follow this team should be really kind of keeping an eye out for week to week for the Demons?
Yeah, one of the things we talked as a coaching staff, we try, and I think one of the other coaches you guys had hit on this, trying to add depth. I think it was Revere's guy, and we're in the same boat. I mean, like last year, one of the frustrating parts is all the two-way guys, because by the time it's third and fourth quarter, they're not the same player anymore. So we spent a lot of time. We changed how we practice in the spring and summer, and we try to develop more kids. And we had our last full week of 2-a-days last week, like the first 6-day week, and we scrimmaged Worcester on Friday, and we felt really good about it. And then we watched the film Saturday with the kids, and we're able to make some corrections, and which we started today. But I think the first name, Jake Ostrowski, he's definitely our most experienced. He's the kid that's played the most for us. He played as a sophomore, and then obviously last year he played both ways, and he's going to be a senior this year. So he's probably our most experienced player that we have. And we're fortunate. We do have some more experience coming back. Stephen Trowbridge is a guy that started at safety for us last year. Tommy DeFranco, who was a little banged up last year, he played a lot, and some as a sophomore. And then up front, we have, Sean Pavich. He's one of our team captains. He was our starting left tackle last year. He's back for offensive, defensive line. And, young guy, junior Seth Eagle, he also started for us last year on the defensive line. But then, kind of hitting on who are going to be the main guys. Like we've had one full week. We have a lot of position battles that are still going. And they're very competitive right now. So I think we'll have, the goal is to have a lot of names on the field for the Demons this coming fall. So that's kind of our goal.
You bring up that competition at many positions, and when you're trying to you're pretty much building your program. Last year was year one, and you continue to build that. Talk about how important that competition is, not only for the players themselves, because competition, breeds better play, but talk about how that better competition will also help build depth for your team. That's one of your goals you're trying to build for your program.
Yeah, it definitely does, and it's funny because just in our team meetings today, we brought up like our scout offense or our scout defense. Whether maybe they're not a 1 or a 2, but maybe they're a sophomore or even a junior, about giving a great look, and that's how we get better, and that's the competitive piece. So to me, I think the more competition you have around, it's only going to lead to stronger practices, and competition is going to you got to rise. If you want a spot, you got to go earn it, and that's been our message to our kids since the spring. So, and I think that's part, like when I talk about the practice energy, I think that's part of it too. Obviously, it's a competitive environment. The kids know everything's being filmed, and they want to put their best foot forth. So, yeah, definitely something we want to continue to breed at Westlake for sure.
Coach, you talked about depth. How have the youth programs been so far since you've come along? Have you really tried to focus on the younger kids and getting them to really believe in what you're teaching, and what's the turnout been like so far this year?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's no secret. I think one of the hardest parts about coaching at Westlake is that we lose 30% of our kids from our middle school to private schools. So I was fortunate. I taught at the middle school for the last 2 years, and principals would love to hear it, but they know that there's a lot of football kids coming in and out of my room. So I've tried to build a relationship with those guys in the middle school. And then, yeah, our youth program has done an outstanding job. They've really, our numbers have gone up and up and up. And I think this year they told me this is like the biggest 6th grade class we've ever had. So, and I've been trying to be more visible with our youth program. We've stopped out. I took the captains out to a practice last week, and then we also did like a youth. We did our 6th grade team worked out with our varsity kids, so we did like 6 stations. So I think our young guys got to they got to meet a varsity guy that they're going to be watching, and then B, they got a little coaching from the varsity kids and coaches. And so yeah, I think that's a huge piece in Westlake is trying to figure out how we can keep our kids to play in our own town, because if we do that, I think sky's the limit for us for sure.
Well, I even saw on your Facebook page, Kevin Stefanski was promoting Westlake youth football for a little bit. He had a video there with the Westlake youth football shirt. So, hey, that's going to help if you got the Browns head coach promoting program.
Yeah, no, that's our youth football coach does an outstanding job. He's at all kinds of events. He's always trying to promote, and I give a ton of credit to him. Like I said, he's responsible for a lot of our youth program and how much they've grown. Yeah, he does an outstanding job for sure.
I'm talking with the Westlake head coach, Logan Yantek, and Rob asked a very great question. I was going to go kind of in that same direction, but moving away from that, as you're going through the preseason, I will make one more Sean Evilsizer reference for the rest of my time on here. I know he's
don't bring up Sean Evilsizer.
I know he's
graduated. The kicker.
But yeah, he's a kicker, so I'm obviously going to talk about him. But when you're replacing someone like him on the special teams unit, obviously it's going to open it up a little bit. It's going to open, it's going to open things up more, maybe for you guys offensively. Having to be a little, not to say you can't bank on your future kicker, but being able to bank on Sean for the last 3-4 years probably has been huge. So talk about that. What kind of effect does that have on the offense? Knowing that you may not have the range that you had before, but you probably still get points if you get within the red zone.
Yeah, it's Sean was he was a coach's dream, and I mean he was awesome. Like Sean, he put in a ton of work. I mean that kid just worked and worked and worked. He's always on the turf. So yeah, replacing him has been hard. Luckily, I give credit to our kids again. They found a kicker that's a senior they got out who's been doing a nice job for us. Nice. So we feel like we have a reliable replacement for Sean for sure. But yeah, I think offensively we just obviously in a perfect world we're scoring more touchdowns and field goals. So ultimately, yeah, hopefully we're kicking more PATs than field goals for sure.
No doubt. So you guys opened the season up against Midview. You played them last year, and as you're getting ready for the season, I think you got one more scrimmage coming up here. But Midview's coming up pretty quick. Without giving too much away, if you guys have done a little bit of a dive into what they're doing, What can you tell us about what you're seeing out of Midview in preparing for the season?
Well, I could tell you Coach Armstrong does a phenomenal job there. It's kind of funny because Coach Armstrong and we both share a mentor coach, and that's DJ Shaw. DJ was my principal. DJ's a big reason why I'm at Westlake, and I know that I think Coach Armstrong either played for him or coached with him at Midview. So we share Coach Shaw. I think he's kind of somewhere in the middle of that. But I think Jack does a great job. Both not just schematically, like he's very, very smart in terms of game planning, but the way that he gets those kids to play. And Midview is always one of the most physical teams that we have to play. And I think last year that's what got the better of us, especially it was 14-14 at halftime. And they continue to bring it, and we didn't match it physically. And I think that's been the message this season, is that we got to be ready week one to play 4 quarters with Midview. That's an SWC team, and they're going to be battle tested. So, we're trying to get our kids ready for that for sure, week one.
Yeah, Coach, absolutely. And that contest will take place next Friday night. It is a home game for Westlake against Midview. And we want to thank you for taking the time again to join us tonight, Coach. And I'll certainly be keeping track of the season, and hopefully we get some of your players on over the course of the season.
That'd be great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for everything you guys do.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. See you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, you
You
too.
too.
Thank you.
It's head coach of the Westlake Demons, Logan Yantek, joining us here on the Sports on Tap High School Preview Show. There's some great coaches tonight. Great coaches throughout this entire series that we've had, going back to the first or second week of July. And it is, as we mentioned, we don't want to understate how much we appreciate their time, especially now when they have a little bit of free time before the season really starts, and they're really going to be knee deep in video and game prep, potential, finding different ways to unlock their players. I mean, it's the fact that we're able to get them on in advance of this and get some real insight into their team. You're not going to find that anywhere else, and we're really appreciative of that. So tonight we had Matt Kostelnik from Avon Lake, Coach Charles Saulters from Twinsburg, and Coach Logan Yantek from Westlake. So we had a little bit of flavor from the SWC, Suburban League Natty, and the Cleveland West Conference. So that's going to do it for at least the coaches aspect, the coaches part of what we have going on here. Just a sneak peek into what we will have going on next Monday, week 1 of the high school football season, will be our conference preview. Each one of us are going to preview our respective conferences. We'll do a quick look at what happened last year, what we're expecting to see this year, and highlight some of the coaches and players and teams that we've talked about. There's a lot of changes that are going to be happening in 2026, but we'll touch on that a little bit next week as well. And you'll find out where we are going to be going for week 1 of the high school football season. And
That's
it doesn't
crazy.
get better than that.
Crazy.
Yep. It's exciting, but yeah, a little nuts that summer has come and gone pretty quick.
I can't wait because this it's just too hot already. Like it's too hot.
The humidity was pretty rough today. 90 and the humidity is high.
I was at the beach for a week and it was hotter here than it was at the beach. Like, come on now. Like, what are we living in the desert?
Yeah, Josh, tell me more about the beach and how much fun you had last week. Well, because it was hot here the whole last week too.
I know.
Yeah.
Had a couple days down there where it was pretty warm, but you had the ocean there, maybe a couple beverages to keep you cool, and you're good to go.
That's right.
We have
That's
Lake
right.
Erie here, baby. Toes in the sand,
I will say we probably had an advantage back in our day. We didn't practice on turf. Think of how much temperature that adds when you're practicing on that fake grass and the rubber and whatnot. We practiced on goose-ridden.
Oh man.
Poop.
Yeah.
But by this time of practice, it basically was just a dirt track that was concrete, at least where I was.
Our practice field got like that, like at least the middle of it, from like the 30 to the 30, and there was that ridge that kind of drained out on each side. but lots of goose poop. Some of that found its way into my helmet from some of Rob and Josh's classmates, but
You know, that you bring up an interesting point because how hot it's been, and we really didn't. I don't recall asking a lot of coaches this, but we really didn't ask them if they adjusted their practice times to have more like later afternoon practices to kind of get the players adjusted to the heat. Even though like in the morning it does get hot, but even like late morning or early afternoon practices just to help your players get used to that feeling. Because what do we see all the time? Especially these early season games, a lot of cramping because these kids are dehydrated. They're not hydrated enough. You may think you're hydrated enough, but when you're going out there and going full bore like that, you realize that you're not. So we see a lot of cramping early on in the season. And I wonder how many coaches that are in our coverage area kind of made those adjustments to maybe practice a little later in the morning or early afternoon just to get more accustomed to that.
Well, I know it was hot at Avon Lake last Friday.
Yeah, we spoke to the Brunswick head coach, and he mentioned that he originally had it, I think it was like mid-afternoon practices, and then they made a switch, I believe, to do either late morning and then like late afternoon or whatever, so they weren't like in the dog heat of the night. But you know, it's one of those things where I always joke, I always like to make this analogy, you know, oh yeah, we got to get ready to play in the heat, but you know what's going to happen come like 3 weeks. It's going to be pouring down rain, it's going to be cold. So like it's one of those things you could, you know, obviously those first couple weeks you want to be hydrated, ready to go, but then again, you really got to just be weathered to stand all 4 seasons, because we get all 4 seasons by the time we go from, you know, week 1 to state championship. I mean, that last year was a perfect example of it. We started with it was 85 in humid week 1, and then Avon wins the state championship in 2 inches of snow.
Yeah, that was cold.
You go from you know, high to low there. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. But yeah, that's crazy.
Bring on hoodie weather. I'm ready for it.
They have a lot of misting fans at the sidelines and a lot of water stations. Let's put it that way. But yeah, you got to stay hydrated.
Is that why there was a mist on all your video, Rob? You were just standing by the misting fan the whole time?
Yeah, I mean, it was hot, I'll tell you that. But it was a lot of fun to see a scrimmage. Noah's been at a lot of these scrimmages, and I think last week you got to see me and Sean saw how red Noah's face was a tomato.
He got torched.
Man.
He got torched.
I told him he's got to wear his hat, or I'm going to get him an umbrella hat just to make sure that he stays out of the sun.
One of those last week of those scrimmages.
I know, that's what.
Yeah. It was great at those scrimmages at Strongsville, Brunswick, and great coverage. And it was great last week, really talking to these players and coaches as they are getting ready to go for the season. It's hard to believe we're starting the season already next week, and these guys are getting ready to go. And, man, it's hard to believe that we are getting ready, down to business, boys, already next weekend.
That's right, Noah. Down to business, buddy.
All right, so make sure you're checking out all the content that's being put out by Rob, Josh, Sean, and Noah on our website, on our YouTube channel, Sports on Tap. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notifications button, get those notifications when we're about to go live on the air. And we will be back here next Monday night, 8 p.m., for the high school football preview show, again, presented by Ray Felton, State Farm Insurance. For Rob Troutman, Noah Jacobson, Josh Jeffy, Sean Duffy, my name is Ed Dick. This is Sports on Tap, and we will see you on the other side.
See ya. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is on every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Watch live on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is presented by Raymond Felton State Farm.
Have you compared insurance rates lately? Are you satisfied with your current insurance provider? If not, look no further than Ray Felton State Farm, a proud sponsor of Sports on Tap. For a free quote, call his office at 234-284-2996 or visit him online at rayfelton.com.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's troutlandent@gmail.com. Elevate your brand with Mako Custom Printing. Mako Custom Printing specializes in creating high-quality spiritware, corporate apparel, and promotional products that make your brand stand out. Whether you need custom printing, graphic design, or an online store for your school or business, we've got you covered. Make a statement with Mako Custom Printing. Visit us at mako.com to start your custom printing journey today. That's MEHCO.com.